Hey guys, Greg Sargent here again with Restoration Made Simple. And this is not a new concept we're going to talk about, but it is something that is getting brought up to us and our team at Restoration Made Simple almost on a daily, if not a weekly basis, right? How are we going to close more of these water damage leads that you guys are getting? I mean, the costs are just going through the roof as far as internet leads go. You could be $300, $500, $800. I'm hearing in some parts of the country right now, a water damage lead through a lead source or a lead generation company can be $1,500, $1,600, okay? So you can spend tons of money, whether that's, $250 or thousands, or maybe you have an outside salesperson or you yourself, the owner, are out marketing your business and you're not closing as many of these water damage leads as you can. So this video is going to concentrate on what you do when that phone rings for an emergency call, okay? And I've got a whole course that you can look at that's online, learn at your own pace that I'll show you a little bit later if you are interested. But for right now, basically just wanted to give you some conversion strategies. And the biggest thing is to do is kind of things here. We got some strategies, track your marketing. Now I'm just going to show you a simple, easy tracking system. If you've got a CRM, it'll track it for you. Just run the reports, call whispers, different scripts for different things. I'm only going to go over a couple of those concepts today. We can go over more in another video, and then success statements, okay? But again, you spend so much time and money on marketing. If you guys are not increasing your closing percentages, then you're just wasting a lot of money, okay? So let's get to this next one. So this is just a simple tracking sheet. Again, if you have a CRM that you're using with your franchise or as an independent, pull the reports off of there and get what your closing percentages are. But you should be able to know on each day how many new leads, how many appointments were scheduled, and then out of those appointments, how many jobs were started. I also like to track what was online, what came from plumbers, agents, adjusters, home inspectors, so you can start to see which referral sources are actually closing the best for you and which ones you're increasing as you do the data, okay? So again, simple tracking sheet, but if you don't know where your calls are coming from and which ones you're closing and which ones you're not, or which ones have a $3,000 job average, which have an $8,000 job average, it's going to be very hard for you to get better at what you're doing. So first off, we recommend, and again, this is just one software or program out there, is CallRail or some type of system to make sure you are recording all of your phone calls, okay? All of them. Because you want to make sure that if it comes in, that if you miss it, that you realize you missed a call, then you can talk to you or your staff or whoever was in charge of that. Also, you can call people back if the numbers are recorded right quickly, or you can also use it for training. So let's say you, the owner, you've been answering phone calls for a long time and you want to hire a new office person or have one of your technicians help you take phone calls. Again, if someone's answering phones and they're not a phone person, then we need to be able to train them so they can go back and listen to your calls that you liked, that you were successful, and then they can do those same techniques and follow your example through that. So CallRail, super simple, easy to use. There's lots of things in here. I'm going to show you another part of this right here. Have different tracking numbers for different websites. So if, for example, in Colorado, I had a Boulder website, a Colorado Springs, a Fort Collins, a Denver website, and a Castle Rock. Each one of them had a separate tracking number so I could see which one was producing the phone calls. And when that call came in, we knew where it was coming from. I mean, someone might call up of a Boulder website and be from Denver, but it's not as likely, right? So it gave our office an idea of who was calling, where they were calling from before we even said hello. Next is a whisper, okay? Put a whisper on there, what might say, Restoration Made Simple marketing call. That's what I put on here for this video example, but yours might be Denver North website lead, or plumbing referral 800 number, or emergency number. And so when they call on those different numbers, as you go to pick up the phone, it's going to whisper in your ear where that call is coming from if you've got those whispers set up. Again, we're trying to give every advantage to you and to your staff to make sure that your phones are being answered quickly and precise. Okay, here's an example again of tracking calls. So you could put tags as you go through the dashboard: sending crews, valid lead, potential water damage. This one went to voicemail. So we see that Google guarantee in the Memphis, they actually left a voicemail. Someone didn't pick up the phone. You can start to realize how many phones you actually miss, phone calls and potential jobs that just go down the tube. All right. So again, this is about tracking and understanding what's happening, so that as you're spending $5,000, $10,000, I mean, we have clients that are spending $30,000 a month on marketing, on online and all these other avenues, and then they're not tracking things, so they don't know where to pinpoint and where they need more training. All right, we do have an owner's course online that you can get. There's a easy call conversion course where it has 13 strategies. And it also has 30 calls that I made that you can actually listen to. We've had hundreds of clients find this important and helpful for their office staff, or even you new owners that are getting into the business. I don't know why I'm losing my voice all of a sudden. But in that, you'll see there's these strategies of how to take different phone calls and actual calls to listen to. All the personal information is kind of bleeped out, so you don't have to listen to that. But I want to give you a couple of strategies just to help you as you're going. All right, so I want to give you guys a couple of different things to think about on this screen here, because you don't answer every call the same way. And these are things that I learned when I was 16 years old. So I've been taking inbound calls and doing outbound telemarketing calls since almost about 30 years of my life. And, you know, if it's a regular hours call versus an after hours, if it's a calm person versus a panicking person, you have to talk a little bit different. If someone is panicking, they're not going to want to sit and answer questions for 10 minutes on the call. It's just not going to happen. They're going to get impatient, and they're going to want to hang up, and they're going to want to find somebody else. If they think they want to do the self-pay because it's a small area and all you're doing is pitching insurance claims, insurance, you're going to lose them. So you've got to listen to what they're saying in the beginning and also ask vital questions to kind of direct that call the way you want it. Okay. So again, ongoing training with this is we would help you understand these different ways to present your company. So one of the ones I want to bring up is so many people are focused on local, right? They want to make sure that you live close by to where their home is so that you can respond quickly, even though we know service companies, especially nowadays, cover large geographic areas. So one of the things that we would always try to do at the very beginning is say, you know, what city do you live in? Because they would say, you know, I'll go stay in Denver because that's where my Denver company was, but they would say Centennial, or I'm off of Arapahoe, or I'm in Boulder, and we would relate something to that. Oh, our shop is just 15 minutes away, or I live in Centennial myself, or oh, John, our technician, he's right around the corner in Littleton. Okay, so, or I have 3 crews out. Let me see which one's closest to you. We're in Boulder all the time. So that way, even think about Google nowadays. It's called Google Local Services. I mean, so this is such a big thing that even Google realizes that they need to focus on the local, and they've got an ad called Google Local Services. So if you can identify with them very quickly so they don't think, who am I calling? Are they an hour away? Are they an hour and a half away? Get the city out there and establish a connection with that city so that they feel like you're right by them. And then that'll bring that calm level right down for a lot of people. Now, you might have to ask some other questions, but we have a whole course, little lecture on this. But just finding out which city and then always relate something, right? Oh, I've got Ben in Littleton as well right now. Let me see how long he's going to be, and I'll get him right over there in, right? So this is our strategy number 4. Just want to give you a little bit more information on this piece that will really help calm that customer down and let them feel like you're right next door, right from the beginning. Now I'm going to skip us to strategy. Well, actually, sorry, I got my slides mixed up. So a couple success statements would be absolutely have 3 crews right out. I already kind of said these, but I have 3 crews right out. Let me see who's closest to you. What city are you in? So there's a couple ways to say this. I'll get Ben right over to take good care of you. I have over 10 years in the industry. He's seen it all. What city are you in? Okay, so reaffirming that you've got a qualified person coming, and you know we do free home inspections with an infrared camera and our moisture meter. what city do you live in? So there's a lot of ways to reaffirm that, yes, they're going to come out with everything they need and what city you are in, and then you're going to confirm that you're close by. Okay. So super simple. I know these are just, you're going to think, gosh, I didn't realize it make that much difference, but we have hundreds of clients that use these strategies and they close. I don't want to, fib any numbers, but usually it's between 10 and 30% more leads than other people that before we've started using these strategies. Now, we're going to skip to a strategy 11, and this is at the end of the phone call. And the biggest thing is you've got to remember on these phones that we all have nowadays, right? We've got, geez, they can call 50 different companies in some cities. I mean, 10 right there off the bat. So if you give them any excuse to get off of the phone call with you and get on the call with somebody else, they will, okay? So at the end of the call, when you've gotten their information, what I like to say is, hey, I've got Ben and John in the area. Let me see which one's closest to you. Most likely I'll be able to get one of them in less than 60 minutes for you or less than an hour for you. Let me call them, see who's closest to you, and then I will call you back in about 3 to 5 minutes, okay? Yes, I know this is going to require you to call that customer back. But what we found is if they are waiting for you to call back, then they are a lot less likely to get on the phone and call somebody else. Okay. So one, you're going to keep them from dialing other people. Two, you are going to call them back in 3 to 5 minutes, if not sooner, if you can, with the answer. So then what you've done is you've built trust. You said you were going to do something, and then you did it. Hey, Mrs. Jones, this is Greg over at Disaster Cleanup Services, just calling you right back like I said I would. Hey, looks like I got a hold of John, and he said he's just wrapping up. GPS says he's got about 40 minutes, and he'll be right over to start getting that water out for you. Is there any other questions you might have for me until John gets there? Okay, so we had a phone call. We kept them off the phone. Then I called them back like I said I would. I tell them the name of who's coming over. And then I see if there's any other questions we can answer at that time. But you need to keep this customer off of the phone and waiting for you to call them back so that they don't get bored and anxious. And maybe you just didn't have the right tone, or they didn't think you were going to hurry fast enough or whatever. But if we have found that clients that do this, they lose, oh my gosh, it is, I don't put a statistic to it or a percentage, but they lose a lot less leads if they follow strategy 11. So again, just kind of a video here to help you guys. Here's a couple of success statements. Emily, give me 3 to 5 minutes, and either Jaden or myself will call you right back with a more exact time. What is your best number to have us call you back? Thomas, make sure the renter has their phone available to pick it up in 3 to 5 minutes. Once I have confirmed with your renter, then I will call you right back and let you know also. Okay, so just a couple of examples of how you can implement this. So what are you going to do to make sure you convert and track your calls better? That's up to you. Again, Greg Sargent here at Restoration Made Simple. Me and my team would love to help you if you're starting a restoration business from scratch, or you're in the middle and you're just can't quite get it to work, or you're going, okay, I'm doing pretty good, but I need to get a higher net profit, right? I need to close more with this marketing money. We would love to help you how to close those water damage leads that are so expensive nowadays at a higher rate. And also, along with other videos, we want to teach you how to increase your job average and your services so that you can be a better restoration company in the area and be more profitable. So thanks again. This is one of those tips from Restoration Made Simple. If you have any questions, just reach out to us on our website, fill out the form, and we'll do a 30-minute free consultation with you. See you on the next video.